Hey everyone, Kevin here. Okay, minor rant time. When in the midst of a protracted job search, people need to stop asking the question, is going back to teaching an option? No, it isn't. And it's frankly both a rude and insensitive question because transitioning teachers are generally transparent about why they left teaching. And I know people mean well and are trying to offer a solution to unemployment. But this would be like asking a person who is claustrophobic to wiggle into a car's trunk and then shut the lid on themselves. It would be mentally traumatic to do so. And I feel like I'm actually rehashing old ground a bit here because I already covered most of this when I made a video on the question of if I could ever see myself being a teacher again that I uploaded about 9 months ago. Plus, I recently made a LinkedIn post where I talked about how it's awful that I've been unemployed for so long and can't contribute as much to bill payments without really worrying about my finances. As a result, my partner has had to stay in a job I know she isn't enjoying, and it makes me feel like it's my fault. What really angered me, though, was when, and as if on cue, someone inevitably asked this question about back to teaching. And again, I said I would rather be unemployed than go back to teaching. One response was so egregious that it made me want to film this episode. Someone asked, so you would rather watch your partner suffer than go back to teaching? I lit that guy up in the comments, and he ended up deleting what he said, so I unfortunately can't show it here for you. But regardless, even though I'm in a much better place now, the trauma and mental health issues from my time in the classroom will last a lifetime. Everything from fires being set in my class to threats of bodily harm in politics. Not to mention the false allegations made against me on a yearly basis that repeatedly destroyed my credibility, and the administrators who chose to blame me for their problems rather than supporting me or taking responsibility for their own actions. Do I need a paycheck right now? Of course. Do I need one so bad that I would be willing to become the very thing I have sworn to never be again? No, and I would be doing myself and my partner a disservice by going back to such an environment. She encouraged me to leave in the first place, and I realized just how bad things had become in those last several months. I was a broken and self loathing person who desperately wanted to leave education and find a job where I'd be better respected and not taken for granted. So I'm not watching her suffer. Quite the opposite. I'm watching her be proud of me for not compromising myself and going back to a place that will drag us both down. Could some go back to teaching until they find something else? Sure, and I know a number of people who've done that. But the constant question of is going back an option really highlights the issue that the general public doesn't seem to understand the environment that teachers now mostly exist in. We don't get real time off, and no, summers off doesn't count. And we deal with our out of control and increasingly violent students every day. No one should have to do that, even for the sake of a much needed paycheck. At the end of the day, I still do miss my students. I actually just cleaned out my garage and came across a couple of boxes of old student work and found myself reminiscing. Even sent a picture of the work to some students I still keep in touch with, and they were amazed I still had it. I miss those connections, no argument there, but I don't miss being a teacher and everything that came with it. There are other options to recommend to someone instead of the one option they ran away from because it was an environment that was physically, mentally, and emotionally toxic. I know you mean well, but it isn't helpful. We don't feel the calling to teach anymore. And not only would it hurt me more than what little money I would get out of it to go back, but would hurt the students because then they wouldn't have a teacher who was actually there for them. A mentorship role where the mentor is only there for the money and not you is hurtful. But I hope that clears up why this question really needs to stop being asked. It's just insensitive. All right, rant over. Thanks for listening, and as always, I'm here to help with whatever you may need. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps tremendously. See you next time.